Please help me welcome first Mr. Luis Rosales from Argentina, who is an Argentinian journalist, writer, academic with a track record of work in the political sphere of Argentina, but also currently in international news at A24 channel in Buenos Aires. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am really glad to be here after a very long trip, you know. We are coming from the end of the world. Argentina sometimes is called the Patagonia, the end of the world. I have several hats. I can use a couple of hats in this presentation this morning. I can talk as a journalist and as a strategist. I want to show you and I want to share with you some strong experience that we are witnessing in our region. Why Latin America is going to be explained, something of Latin America in the Arabic world, because I think that we have a lot of things in common. Even we are very far away each other. Latin America has around 20 million square kilometers. The Arabic world means 13 million kilometers. 600 million people, Latin America, 300 million people, the Arabic world. And we, as a region, share a common language, two languages actually in Latin America, Portuguese and Spanish, but a same way to believe in God. The majority of the region is Christian. You have practically the same religion and you share a language. So we have, and with difference, each country is different than the other, but we have a lot of things in common. So I think that the Latin American experience can be helpful for the Arabic world. This is a current political map of Latin America today. If you saw this map 40 years ago, practically all the countries were dictatorships, with a few exceptions. Dictatorships promoted or helped by Washington, D.C., in order to stop the influence of the Soviet Union promoted in Latin America through Cuba, through the dictatorship of Cuba. Now, practically all the region is under democracy, which is a real advantage for the region and for the people of Latin America. And the distribution of the ideologies of the current governments in Latin America is almost like this. In strong red, the left, in strong blue, the right, and in light blue and light red, the center left and the center right. So the distribution, the ideological distribution of power in Latin America is a little bit balanced right now. But I'm going to explain you today something which have a lot of things to do with a combination of media and a crisis of our political system. Because our political system is in a crisis, in a big crisis. We have a representation crisis, a crisis of representation. People are really upset what democracy and different parties and different outcomes in the elections are giving them. Main reasons, because there is a big insatisfaction with all politicians, because insecurity, rob, crime, inequality, unemployment, poverty. And it is no matter that the government is from the right or from the left. The outcome and the feeling of the people is frustration after that. This frustration, combined with a big crisis in the representation of the traditional media, provoke a real earthquake in the politics of Latin America. The appearances, the new anti-systemic candidates, politicians, that they are coming and winning elections. So Latin America is changing right now. This is a little sample of the anti-systemic who are winning in different elections in Latin America. When the system is practically situated in the left side of the spectrum, the anti-systemic came from the right. And when the system is situated in the right side of the spectrum, of the political spectrum, the anti-systemic comes from the left. So the first one are anti-systemics from the left, the Peruvian Pedro Castillo, the Colombian Gustavo Petro, the Chilean Gabriel Boric, and in the down, the anti-systemics from the right, the Salvadorian Nayib Bukele with Palestinian origins, Jair Bolsonaro from Brazil, and the newly elected president of my country, Javier Milei from Argentina. What are they have in common? They have in common that they are new political figures, practically with no experience. One was a rural teacher, the Peruvian. Another one was, for instance, Gabriel Boric from Chile, a student before being president, 36 years old. Just finished the university and was a teacher after that. Bukele, and okay, a new political figure, disruptive, completely disruptive. They follow a completely exotic, different way of approach people, of get the people vote. Against the current system, instead of critics, if you criticize them, and the system criticize a lot to them, instead of diminishing power, they are empowering. Their food is the critics. Almost like Donald Trump in the States or other candidates in Europe. And they are the symbol, the promise of a great change in the main issue the country needs. That's the reason why a former military won in Brazil, Bolsonaro, an economist won in Argentina, and a student in Chile, because the main demand of the electorate is going to be, they feel that it's going to be fulfilled by this candidate. They represent that thing. And to finish, I want to introduce you the newly elected president of Argentina, a very exotic figure. Probably one of the main representation of these anti-systemic candidates, an economist, completely out of politics, who promised a real change in Argentina. You have to take into consideration that Argentina, 100 years ago, was one of the richest countries in the world. Actually, at the beginning of the 20th century, we were the richest per capita country in the world. And maybe 50 years ago, we started the long decline process. So, and the decline process was related with populism and leftist ideas. So, the response of the people in this new combination of social media and crisis of the system is a right-wing economist, Javier Milei. The real challenge my country is facing if the Argentines are ready to take the medicine we have already bought at the pharmacy a few weeks ago in the election, because this medicine is going to be probably painful and bitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luis.